Good evening, I am your host, Jack Remington, the Jack Remington NFL channel. Welcome back. It is divisional round this weekend for the playoffs, NFL season 2022-23. 4 great games, keep them in rotational order. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Kansas City Chiefs. They played once already this year. It opened at 7, and I kept waiting, and we got it 9.5. I pulled the trigger. We lost by half a point. Jacksonville missed a couple field goals, and they just made it 20-7. They scored with less than 35 seconds left. Kickoff, Kansas City fumbles the ball. They get it back with 11 seconds left. A couple plays, they get 8 yards or 9 yards, and they miss a 41-yard field goal. But Jacksonville outpossessed Kansas City by almost 5 minutes. I mean, they controlled the ball, even though they only had 16 rushing attempts. And I'm looking for the same thing this weekend, too. I'm looking for Kansas City to score a lot of points. I'm looking for Kansas City to win the game. But I'm looking for Jacksonville to start running the ball, using ATM a little more. I think Doug Peterson's the better coach, but there's no better coach in the NFL than Andy Reid coming off of a bye. I mean, his record speaks for itself. He's the top coach in the NFL history with teams coming off of a bye. They just win. I don't know what it is he does. He has a way of getting them in shape and getting them motivated, but there's one thing I want to point out here, and I'll put on the graphics part of the screen here with this Kansas City Chiefs game under the team stats. They did not have not one penalty that game. Not one penalty. You want to talk about a disciplined team. Andy Reid's defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, and his other coaches, the offensive line coaches and the quarterback coaches, everything else, and the wide receiver coaches, defensive back coaches, that they were real well disciplined for this game. Not one penalty. It's the only game I can find so far that I remember after the 270-some games, regular season games, that there was no penalties from a team. Jacksonville had 5 for 30, and most of them were in the second half, and they were trying to make another come back again. Now, Kansas City did lose a turnover battle, 3-0. There was a pick and 2 fumbles. Jacksonville didn't have any turnovers. But the sacks, also, Kansas City did not give up a sack. They sacked Trevor Lawrence 5 times for 19 yards. Yards per play, Kansas City 7.8. Jacksonville 5.2. I mean, they beat them 2.5 yards per play. I mean, that's huge in the NFL. That's the only time they played this year. It is a rematch. Kansas City just dominated that game. They missed an extra point when they were going to go up 21-0. Then Kansas City has a habit of letting off the gas, but I don't think they're going to let off the gas in the first half for sure, like this game here. They may have let off the gas a little bit in the second half because they got shut out in the fourth quarter. It was 7-0 Jacksonville fourth quarter. So I'm looking for the same thing again. And on the pregame.com, I got my picks up here. For the pregame.com, for the monitored picks, I put the Chiefs on the money line, laying minus 470 just to win 100. I really think Kansas City's going to win the game. And then just looking up really quick here while I got the camera rolling, the line moved again this morning when I got up. In most places, Kansas City is now favored by 9 points. It went from 8.5 to 9. Even on the lopsided Sports Illustrated Sportsbook, there hasn't been that much movement like other games that I would like to point out. But there was a 10.5 that I'm sure that they got taken. Someone either bought the points or they went up to 10.5 briefly for the hour increment on this VegasInsider.com. Someone laid the wood and gave Jacksonville 10.5 points, but now it's down to 9. Went back to 8.5, and now it's now 9. So I don't like laying points in the NFL game. I don't care who it is, what it is. I mean, I just don't like doing that. I mean, I've done it. I've only hit 2 this whole entire year, but I've lost every time I try to lose, or it seems like it. So I'm taking Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're going to destroy the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Jacksonville had their little run. They won 6 in a row. They should have lost to Tennessee. And they should have lost to the Chargers. I keep saying San Diego. You know what I'm talking about. They should have lost last week to the Chargers. If that Bosa guy didn't have 2 penalties and within like 3 minutes apart, Jacksonville doesn't win that game. I mean, that just, we all know that, those of us who watch that game, and there's no way they should have won that game, but they did. And by the way, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. I have a friend that has an insider. He somehow has a reporting account with Elias Sports Bureau. They haven't gotten back with him yet, but we're pretty sure that this is the only time in NFL history, in any playoff game or postseason game, where the team had 5 turnovers to their 0 and come back and won the game like that. So Jacksonville's a special company, and I think they've used up all their luck. I think they're out of luck. I think Peterson's a better coach than Andy Reid, but I think there's too much to overcome. Kansas City's offense is cranking. If they can afford to get rid of Tyreek Hill, and they're still scoring more points this year than they were last year, I mean, the offense is humming with Patrick Mahomes. Just, in my opinion, they're almost unstoppable. So we're taking the Kansas City Chiefs, and let me look at my other notes here. Through the BetMGM, when the over-under did hit 54, we got an 8-point teaser. We got under 62, and then Kansas City minus a half. And we're risking 280 to win 140. So that's the one. We'll close that game out with that. Next game we'll talk about the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. The open is 7.5, somewhat low juice at minus 105. And it's now still 7.5, minus 111 on the Sports Insight. But going to the Vegas Insider, there's been some movement, but not a whole lot. Even if you go to the Sports Illustrated wild lines here, you're not going to see that much variance. Although I did see a minus 3.5. I think it's some error. So we'll skip over that. They played twice, a division rivalry. The last game, the last week of the year, I don't think either one of them showed much. And it was kind of a, sluggish game. I mean, they even looked like they were just looking like they were moving in slow motion to me. All their positions were locked in. Philadelphia's locked in with the number 1 seed. The Giants were stuck in their 6th seed. I mean, there was no way they could go up or down. I'm reasonably sure that neither coach was going to show a whole lot. So I'm going by the first game when they played, and it was the Philadelphia Eagles 48 and the Giants 22. It was a slow starting game. The first quarter was 7-0 Philly. But then the Phillies started stepping on the gas. They scored 17 points in the second quarter, and 24-7, and the rest is history. So this game we'll have to look at here that we're going by. Philadelphia Eagles, they sacked Danny Dimes. They sacked him 7 times, but versus sacking Jalen Hurts 4 times. 5 penalties for the Giants versus only 2 for only 9 yards for the Eagles. A well-disciplined team. They did lose. The Giants also fumbled. No interceptions for either team. Yards per play, Philadelphia Eagles 6.6 versus 4.8 yard and a half per play. That's big in the NFL. And on third down, the Eagles slowed them down. The Giants only got 4 for 13 on third down. That's what I'm looking for again here. We're looking for the Philadelphia Eagles I'm looking for them to destroy the Giants. I think the Giants used their luck up. And what I should just preface this video at the very beginning. Historically, I'm going back in the late 60s and 1970s, 1980s. I mean, historically, in this round, in the divisional round, the favorites pound the dogs. And just how it was. It started turning around. John Elway-ish, 1995-ish, 1998-ish, started turning around a little bit. Jacksonville shocked the Broncos one year, 30-27 in the divisional round. The Carolina Panthers shocked somebody too. I can't remember who it was. It was Green Bay. They shocked somebody. And then started having some upsets and everything. The dogs started covered. But that's starting to reverse again. I mean, I think last year divisional round, there was only one up. That's when my 49ers beat Green Bay in the divisional round. It was the only dog to cover. The rest of them, the favorites, just pounded the dogs. I mean, it's just the way it works in the NFL. And so the first 2 games we covered here, I got 2 big favorites. So Goliath is going to punch down on David, and that's what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for the Philadelphia Eagles to destroy the Giants. I mean, I'm looking for them. It's not even to be close. I got a 2-team teaser. It's a 7-point teaser. It's only $1.30 juice. We got Philadelphia Eagles minus a half, knock all the points off, and I got the Cincinnati Bengals plus 13. So we'll take care of that. I've made 10 teasers, but I scratched 7 of them out. We're only going to just play 3 teasers this weekend. We're only got 7 games left. My strategy is I've locked up a decent last wild card weekend. It was the biggest week I've had financially this year. I even beat my week 3 with Jacksonville on the money line when he shocked the Chargers the first time. 3,000 on Miami plus the 13.5. Half the bet was 13.5. The other was 14. It took 300 and put it on the money line. And it was paying $6.75 or something like that. That's my sprinkle. If it's a bet like that, it's 10% of what I put on the other side because I want the points covered. If you want to win that one, you want to win that bet. The money line's gravy. It's the only thing I lost for doing my straight bets for the games. I won every game last weekend. I'll put the graphics on pregame.com that backs that up. So now let's get to the next game. the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. You know what? I had a note here. The ranking the games, easiest to hardest to handicap. I got the Kansas City game is the easiest, the one to handicap. The second, the easiest one is the Philadelphia Giants game, the easy. The third easiest game to handicap is the Dallas and 49ers. The Cincinnati Buffalo is the hardest game for me to handicap this weekend. So we're on that game now. The hardest game, I think. We got reverse line moving, which scares me. Now, what I had done on week 15, or right around December 12th, 13th, I looked at the ticket dates, December 14th. And either that video or the next video, I told people on my channel, the two teams I'm looking to get in the Super Bowl are the San Francisco 49ers and the Cincinnati Bengals. And I've been saying it every video since then. Wagering for entertainment only, units only, folks. I know one's going to be a losing ticket, and I'll explain that. And it's for me, it's okay. I mean, I know I'm going to lose a ticket this way, but I bought two tickets. I bought the San Francisco. I put $200 for San Francisco. It was plus 1,600. So if I win that, if 49ers win it all, I'll get 3,200 units. I put $300 on the Cincinnati ticket. It was plus 2,200. If I win that one, 6,660 units. If the 49ers win it all, it's 3,200 minus the 300 I'm putting on Cincinnati, so it's 2,900. That's a good payday. If the Cincinnati wins it all, it's 6,600 minus the 200 I'm putting on the 49ers. That's 6,400. That's an even better payday. But things have changed substantially, in my opinion, for both teams, especially the Cincinnati Bengals, more so than the 49ers. The 49ers got this Brock Purdy, and I'm telling you, I've been saying this on video after video, making me look like a fool, but that's okay, because I still was taking the 49ers on some of these games. We'll get to the 49er game. We'll talk about that game last, because that's the next game after this one. The Bengals, everybody knows what happened, but they were winning the game 7-3. We had the Bengals on these teeters. We're getting 17 and 18 and a half, whatever it was, points I was getting. It looked like a shoe-in for the Spaceman. I mean, I was already having a great week that week. I only lost one bet. I was going to wind up with 4-1. I mean, I was just cruising. The money was coming in, but the game got canceled. The guy got hurt. The Marham one, he's probably done with football, probably. But that's okay. He'll be okay. And we wish him well. But the point is that the NFL had, in its infinite wisdom, decided to cancel the game. Well, that's the point of this video, is not to discuss that. The point of the video is the Bengals lost their momentum, and they can't win. That's one of the two factors. The second factor that's hurting the Cincinnati Bengals is that they lost that third lineman. Just now watched the game last night on the something had come up in my house and had to take my wife somewhere. We could not watch the game. I could not watch that game. Ravens, Bengals. I watched highlights, but highlights is, at this stage of the game, you need to watch the whole game. You need to see who's doing what. And I must say that the Ravens put up, I think Ravens put up just as good a fight as the Miami Dolphins did against the Buffalo Bills. The Ravens probably should have won that game. I mean, even though I'm riding high on Joe Burrow, and I'm a Joe Burrow fan and all that other good stuff, but you know what? The Ravens, I mean, with that third string quarterback, that Huntley guy, I mean, he was just awesome. I kept thinking he didn't play like a third string. I mean, everybody's pimping this Brock Purdy. Purdy can't touch this guy that the Ravens got. This guy was fantastic. And we'll talk about the Buffalo game in a second here. About the Buffalo side, I don't think there was a punt, not one punt in the first half. It was all ball control. And everybody underestimates John Harbaugh. He's a quiet guy, doesn't say a whole lot, and he lets the actions speak for themselves. And for a couple of years there, Baltimore had from the best top 5 NFL defense to the bottom 5. 2 years ago, they were the worst defense in the NFL. And they lost like 7 in the last game. They skid out of the playoffs. They pulled the Tennessee Titans when they just skidded out. And I, so that stuck in my mind. It kept sticking in my mind. No ball, man. But it turned into a Lamar Jackson team, the offensive side. But John Harbaugh has quietly reassembled his defense. I mean, they're formidable, and they might topple the Bengals next year. But that's next year. We'll talk about next year when the time comes. But Cincinnati lost that third lineman that they keep talking about. They lost him late in the second quarter. So they played the whole second half of this game without these 3 linemen that they keep talking about, and they did okay. They weren't slunkered out of the game here. It was just Baltimore executed so well. I mean, it was a well-played game. And Cincinnati's defense did step up on, especially on that one play. I mean, that was a heads-up play. I mean, the lineman reacted just like that. He knew what to do. I know I won the game, and it was a 14-point swing with Hubbard running that thing back 98 or 99, wherever the hell, how many yards it was, the entire football field. But that block in the back, they should have stopped it. They should have stopped it right there, because there was a block in the back, and they got away with it. Oh, there was also a poorly officiated game, in my opinion. Baltimore got away with 2 or 3 plays at the sideline passes that should have been ruled incomplete, but they gave it to them. But Cincinnati got a couple good plays too, for and against. In the 4th and 1, I don't think that Baltimore got the first time they won 4. I don't think they got it. I don't think they got it. Then it was, and they got it like an extra 2-yard spot. I thought, what is this? And no one said a word. I thought, Moz are deceiving me. The old Richard Pryor joke, or you believe me or lying eyes. He got caught shagging some dancer and his wife's love seat at the bungalow they have with a foyer window, and she was coming home early and saw him on the couch, and the girl ran at the back, with her clothes in tow, and she was barefoot, and it's a true. Richard Pryor, he maintains it was dying day. It was a true story. She goes, "You gonna believe me or your lying eyes? I was not shagging that girl." And so I kept thinking, I didn't believe my lying eyes here. Baltimore didn't get that 4th and 1, but they gave it to them, and Cincinnati, okay. Okay. The Miami-Buffalo game was a little more erratic because there were all the drop balls and a little bit of tightness and chokeness and whatever you want to call it. But it was a well-officiated game. I don't remember any real big gas, but the Ravens game, there was 10 horrible officiating plays. Enough of that. Cincinnati, I think, has lost some momentum. They've lost a little bit of their mojo. They didn't look as sharp as they have been before. They had just played the week before, and they won against the Ravens 27-16. But neither team was showing much, and they looked like they were in slow motion, just like I was talking about the Giants game, and Eagles game. There's a couple vanilla plays. I think they just run the ball to the middle. Nothing. So because I had this investment with Cincinnati winning it all, I got to start looking at am I going to get stronger here with Buffalo Bills? I mean, the Bills are formidable. Well, here's the problem. Okay, when you look at the betting line, you see it open to 3.5. Okay, even the Sports Illustrated wild swings, you don't see that much variance, but I will put it in the graphics part. There was a Buffalo minus 2.5, and there was a Cincinnati plus 8.5, and somebody either bought the points or got it, and now it's sitting at 5.5. Last night it moved from 4.5 to 5, and this morning I woke up, it's right now to 5.5. It's a lot of points to give a team like Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow and those great receivers that they have that make that team. But if Buffalo got their wake-up call because of Miami last week, and Josh Allen showed he can still zing that ball to 50 yards, and then the guy catch that ball on that big third down play that broke Miami's back in the 4th quarter. I mean, Miami was on the road to a big upset. And you got 67%, it was 70% of the money coming on the Bengals and only 30% money coming on the Bills. And the line kept going up and up. It's a reverse line movement. What's that telling you? I mean, when the money's coming on the Bengals like that, the line should be going down. It should be going down to minus 3.5, minus 3, whatever. But it keeps going up and up and up. It's like they're begging you to take Cincinnati Bengals. So when I see this line, I'm thinking, why are they pushing me to take my team, Cincinnati Bengals, like this? So what we're going to do here, we're going to do a cover here. We're going to do a hedge. We're going to do a little cuteness here, even if I lose the bet. And I had it written down here. Based on it being 4.5, which was the last one we did this last night, and just for lane 140 to 100, 8-point teaser, we got Buffalo plus 3.5, and we got the over San Francisco-Dallas game over 37. So, and we'll talk about that game next. But we're still on Cincinnati-Buffalo. I'm going to bring up something here. The game was canceled between Cincinnati and Buffalo, so the only game I want to compare anything with is the Buffalo-Miami game last week. That would have been a great icing on the cake for bragging rights if I'd have won that money line bet with Miami. But I won the 13.5 and a 14-point, so a decent-sized win for me, the biggest of the year for me. I want to talk about a couple things in the Miami game, what they did. They sacked Josh Allen 7 times. Okay, so now you got to think in your mind, which team's got the better pass rush? The Miami Dolphins or the Cincinnati Bengals? I think the Bengals got the better pass rush, but not by much. It's close. They have a chance. Their defense has a chance. I know he's only 18 for 45. It's like 37% of his passes. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. But you know what? He outplayed all the quarterbacks, all of them. And I told you a couple weeks ago that when New England got the big lead on Miami, they brought the guy in because Teddy Bridgewater got hurt, broke his thumb, or whatever, broke the digit on his thumb. This Skylar Thompson got him, looked like surgery, looked like Joe Montana. I mean, looked like Tom Brady. I kept thinking, where'd they get this guy from? And they only lost by 2 points. I mean, he almost won the game for them. And now he plays this game here, and you can't take anything away from this guy. Yeah, he's a little slow getting to the ball because he's not used to getting the reps. He probably didn't get that many reps. McDermott, I've never saw him got rattled until that game there. He was panic-stricken. And, of course, the TV people's not helping any. Oh, they can't end this way. Buffalo's got a great year. They were picked to win it all. I mean, they were so biased for Buffalo. They were just shocked that Miami came in here and went to kick their ass. And I was loving it because I had all those bets on Miami. But they put Buffalo to the brink, and maybe this is their wake-up call. And I'm sure if they're practicing like I think they're going to practice, and McDermott's a good coach. And the line movements, listen to the betting, and you look at the line, and you're thinking, yeah, you got Cincinnati on your future, but you know what? They might lose this game. And Buffalo is every YouTube site, every wannabe, every pro picker, everybody already anointed Buffalo Super Bowl winner before the season even started, including me. I thought Buffalo was going to win it all too. The way I was talking, and their momentum and everything, and their team improved, but they had some injuries. They lost Von Miller. They lost a couple other players on defense. They lost a couple of offensive players. We all go through that. I'm still taking my guns. I'm still going to stick with Cincinnati, but I'm going to do that hedge thing on that two-team teaser just to cover my ass, just in case I'm wrong. And I'm getting Buffalo in 3.5 points. If Cincinnati beats them in overtime with field goal, I'll still win. On my pregame.com, you'll see that I have Bengals, here's +6, but I put the Bills money line, Bills -240. So I'm trying to get in the middle like I did with the stupid. That was a bad pick, trying to do it with Tampa the other night. So now let's get to the last game. I think it's the most fun game. It's the Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 49ers. It opened at 4.5, got down to 3.5, got down to 3. And right now, as of right now, it's +4. Not that much movement, even on the Wild Sports Illustrated sports book. It's 60-40 money coming on the 49ers versus the Cowboys. And you know what? I know I got the 49ers future ticket as one of the two teams to win the Super Bowl. But I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna do a hedge. I'm going to try to get cute here. I got that teaser here. We got an 8-point teaser laying 700 to win 500. Cincinnati +13.5. We got Dallas Cowboys +11.5. Risking 700 to win 500. So that's our. We want to win that one. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the Dallas to the points. This Brock Purdy, he's going to turn into a pumpkin this game. Pass rushes, they're licking their chops. He's never seen anything like this pass rush. I know they're on grass, but the Cowboys, I mean, they were fifth straight road game. I'm telling you, all Mike McCarthy has to do is get those 4 front down linemen on the Dallas Cowboys. Said, you guys got to win this game for us. You got to sack this kid, scare him half to death, get him to fumble the ball, get him to throw some picks, and we'll win this game. That's what I look for that to happen. I look for Mike McCarthy to outsmart Shanahan, which is not that much of a feat to me. This clock management hurt him in that game against Seattle the other week. And burning the timeout when he didn't need to burn the time. I thought, what's this guy doing? And he made me so mad. I made a separate thread on pregame.com. I mean, I tried to tell him, he said, Shanahan's a genius, he's no genius. I mean, so I tried to warn you. What I do like about the 49ers is that Deebo Samuel is healthy. I mean, he looked awesome. But we'll see how he does against the Cowboys. You got to remember, they played in the wild card round last year. Except the game was in Dallas, and the 49ers got this big lead. Of course, we had the 49ers. We'll go back and look. And everybody and their brother was betting on Dallas. Everybody. But I'm looking for the same type of game. And the 49ers had Jimmy Garoppolo. They didn't have this Brock Purdy guy. Purdy's going to turn into a pumpkin this game, and I'm betting on it. So those are the 4 games. We're taking Kansas City on the money line. We're taking Philadelphia on the money line. We're doing a hedger. We're doing teasers with both either Cincinnati or Buffalo, give or take what I already told you on the screen here. Still going to take Cincinnati in the points, but I'm also going to do Buffalo money line. I got to commit, so I'm going to commit. I'm still thinking Cincinnati's going to win the game, but the reverse line movement and other things I've talked about, it's got to be scared half to death. So I need to cover my ass here, and I need to lock up my profit. I mean, I can't lose this week, or lose a lot. And there's 2 games next week in the Super Bowl. Make sure you walk away a winner. We're going to stick with the 49ers on the money line, but I'm going to take Dallas in the points. And I wouldn't be surprised Dallas would win this game straight up. So we're doing got 2 definite picks and 2 hedges. So hopefully that'll do it. Thank you. Always great day to be an American. Always great to be an NFL fan. The playoff time is exciting times. I mean, it's hard to go to sleep. I mean, I'm looking forward to these games. Everything's cool. Enjoy the games. I hope you get some good information out of this. Don't copy me play for play. Let what I'm doing let you help make your decision. You're 100% responsible for what you do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a licensed sportsbook bettor or advisor. I don't want to get locked up. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want people saying, right, Spaceman told me. I didn't tell you to do anything. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Okay, the rest is up to you. So I got a couple snide comments, even though I had a big winning week last week. I still got a couple snide comments. I guess the guy went against me. He went the other way. That's his fault for going the other way. If you want to fade me, good luck. Oh, and pregame.com, I bet that Elvis Presley's daughter dying, and I responded to the comment, and it blew up, and pregame.com, they just took me right off. 2 threads. One of them wasn't even mine, but I commented on it. And I haven't had time to deal with that, so I'll deal with that either next week or in a couple of weeks, whatever. It's a low priority. I need to concentrate on the games. I need to concentrate on some other things. So enjoy the games. Have fun. The NFL is the greatest team sport of all time. The coaching is most important in the NFL than any other sport. I'll argue anybody blue in the face. That good coaching, you can take a 400 team and turn it into a contender every year. Can't do that in the other sports, and especially basketball. You can't do that. Stick with me. We've got big things coming. I'm going to get a social media manager for next year. We're going to make some serious changes. Some big changes are coming, and it's all for the better. It's to help you beat your bookie in your casino and get some bragging rights and win some minor contests. So hang in there. Stick with me. If you stuck with me this far, I thank you. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.